Ellis here, episode 1 of Bourbon or Beer, Redhead versus No Good Sons.
Hi, I'm Ken, frontman and guitarist of No Good Sons. You're watching Bourbon or Beer.
Well, I think there's no denying it. Anyone that knows me is Freddie. Freddie's got to be the hero, isn't he? And the reasons why is because, well, it was Freddie. Come on, Freddie Mercury ruled. Ridiculously talented. One hell of a performer. What a voice. And he did an opera album. Come on, it's got to be Freddie.
Yep, it's a hero, without a doubt. Billy F Gibbons. For me personally, he changed, evolved that merge between blues and rock, in my opinion. I watched a documentary recently, and it's just, the history of him and how they came and formed ZZ Top, and the music they did, sort of up to Eliminator. It's just, incredible. The riffs, the licks, the guitars. He's a thoroughbred Texan, and literally he's just like the coolest man on the planet. Can't go wrong. He is super smooth, and Billy F Gibbons without a shadow of a doubt.
I've met quite a few famous people. Brian may be the coolest. I met him in Windlesham, of all places. I have met the Darkness quite a few times. They're all cool. I met Donald Faison from Scrubs, and the guy that played McLovin, whatever his name is, he was cool. But I met Meryl Streep briefly once, and I said to her, "I'm really sorry, but I'm busting for a pee." And that was that. And I like to think she still thinks of that moment to this day. Yeah.
Hey, this one's quite a funny one because, like, recently I hadn't actually met that many famous people, and it's only in sort of, I guess, the last sort of 5 to 8 years that I've met famous people, I think. And it's funny. They just like all at once. So like I met Tyler Bryant at the Shakedown. I met Tyler Bryant in Southampton at the Joiners, and then at Dingwalls in London. I met actually the whole band there, which was cool. Left Lane Cruiser. I got to see them and chatted to them briefly after their set at Black Deer Festival. 1,000 Horses. I was on a 2-day gig and drinking session in London with Mike, and Left Lane Cruiser. We met them and we're absolutely smashed. It was quite embarrassing, that one. I think about it. Met Billy F Gibbons, obviously. That was probably one of the single most coolest days of my life. I've got the signed album launch from HMV. I think awkward or embarrassing number one for me would be London tour, acoustic. The acoustic tour from Jared Dickinson, and he came over with a distillery support from Texas, and they bring in sort of like whiskey from Texas for everyone to try during the gig. So before the show, they'd have a counter and a number of different whiskies, and I took a liking to the rye. After the set, Jared actually had a bottle on stage, and by this point I was pretty smashed. Everyone's like chatting with him afterwards, and so I just pulled him up. It's just like, so they've run out of rye whiskey, and you have like half a bottle on stage. So I ended up drinking his whiskey. And to this day, I still, when I do message him and speak to him, I still apologise for that because, not cool. When I think about it, not cool at all. It's good whiskey though. I'm really hoping they get a UK disty over here. But if you're watching, Jared, I'm really sorry again.
Well, I've worked my way through quite a few instruments. When I was young, I wanted to play the banjo, which then made me think, I'll quickly move away from that, and then I want to learn guitar. Then I had violin lessons, and then I actually started teaching myself guitar, which took forever, because I think everyone wanted to play guitar, and I spent a lot of my time pretending I was in the Ramones and stuff like that. But I always wanted to actually sing, but I couldn't sing. Some will probably say I still can't. But I don't know. I grew up watching all the cool bands and all the cool, gigs and stuff like that. I was like, I want to do that, but I didn't know how, so I just thought I'd work it out. And yeah, here we are. I always wanted to do the frontman thing, and that's what I'm doing now. And still pretend I can play guitar.
Oh, inspiration behind the instrument. Without sounding like a broken record for the whole thing, ZZ Top got me into a lot of playing guitar. AC/DC as well. I remember when my dad bought me my first guitar, and it was the three chords, the D, A, and G. And I used to drive him mental playing a lot of AC/DC, and the ZZ Top sides really actually pushed me to play a bit more lead. I was rubbish. I was horrendous at it, and it just wasn't for me. Obviously, we got Martin in the band, and he really helped push me forwards and give me a couple of licks and stuff like that to learn. And then I went away, and actually, I remember when I was desperate to cover Lagrange, so we did, and there was like 3 solo hooks that Billy Gibbons does. So I just literally went away and learnt those nails on. And yeah, but for the guitar, yeah, Billy, because he's just brilliant. He doesn't have to be super fast. I'm never going to be that super fast on lead guitar, but to get those like blue grooves on guitar is definitely inspired by him. And I guess on the other side, from the frontman, I never wanted to be a frontman. It wasn't my thing. I didn't want to be a singer. To start with, it was just guitar. And so when I decided to do vocals, my confidence level was like rock bottom, because I didn't really know what I was doing. And I remember going to I went to go see the Cadillac 3, and the support was Tyler Bryant and the Shakedown. I think this was at Shepherd's Bush Empire. And I listened to a couple of tracks by Tyler Bryant before the show, and by track 3 I was like, this is incredible, man, this guy is off the charts, he's so cool, I'm gonna listen. Went to the gig, his energy on stage was, and the first thing I said after about 3 tracks of Tyler Bryant on stage, I was like, that's how you be a frontman. He's a guitarist and singer, but his energy on stage is just like nothing I've ever seen. Now in my head, all I was picturing, like, I want to be like Jaron Johnson from the Cadillac 3. But now I think about it, the energy and all of that Tyler Bryant brings, that's for me was just like, actually he's got it. He's got it nailed. So a lot of my over the topness on stage is pretty much inspired by him. Yeah.
The best. Well, there's lots of best things about being in this band. I love the creative side of it. I like when someone will have an idea and suddenly it just goes, and everyone just jumps in, and it just becomes a song. It becomes something quite quick, and I love that. It's the best feeling in the world when something just works. And then taking the studio, I love being in the studio. I love that so much, because whatever you've done just grows and grows and grows, because you just riff off of each other, and that's when the exciting bits happen. But gigging, I love gigging. That's what makes it great, is when you can stand up and do what you do and see if people like it or not. But yeah, so they're the best moments for me, and the guys are all right, I suppose. Worst part, loading in and loading out of gigs. What a crock of shit that is. I hate that. And one of the reasons I moved away from playing guitar so much is because then I only had to turn up with a microphone. But then obviously started playing again, so I've got gear to carry, and I hate that. I can't be bothered with that.
The best and worst parts of being in the band. Best parts, I mean, there's quite a few, I guess. Family. The band is a big family. We all look out for each other, but we hang out on a regular basis. Even during the lockdown, we hook up on Skype. or whatever we use. We use Messenger. I'm sure Mike's crying now. And we hang out every Saturday night, and you'd think, it'd be like, we're there for like 3 or 4 hours. Obviously, I'm the front man, so I disappear first. I'm like, here, done my thing, looked at myself for a bit, so I'm going to go now. That's not the case. No matter what Mike tells you, that is not the case. But the best thing about the band is that everyone's free to do their own thing. Everyone's free to contribute what they want, how they want, when they want. There's never occasions where we're like, nah, that's rubbish, we're not going to use it. We'll adapt whatever it is that somebody brings to the table to make it work. And that's the best bit about it. I think the worst part is me. I am my own worst enemy. I'm a perfectionist. I don't like being rushed. Unfortunately, the guys get a lot of sort of like grumpiness from me when everything's lastminute.com and rushed. I'm like, and the clashes of personal life and band life. I know I'm the main culprit for that. When I'm like, oh, sorry guys, I can't do this or I can't do that because I have other commitments in my personal life, and that I wouldn't say it's not a downside. It's just probably me saying sorry to the guys, because it is always me. So I'm sorry. There, I said it publicly, and I'm doing my usual wearing my heart on my sleeve to millions of people. Millions of people. Yeah, right. What's next?
I think I started getting into music properly about 1999, 2000, around then. That's when I started really looking into guitar and trying to understand it and understand how to play the damn thing. And then 2003, at college, I started my first band, Simple Chord. And mainly we were called that because I knew 3 chords. I know 4 now, so I've really come on. But yeah, I mean, we actually recorded as well. So I think we did 3 tracks in the studio, so they exist somewhere, and I hope no one ever hears them. Because as bands go, we weren't good.
Where did I get started in music? So in comparison to especially the rest of the guys in the band, and I know obviously the history of the boys from Redhead, I had one band prior to No Good Sons, which was called Lucky Six. And this, God, I must have been about 21, 22. And it was a little jam session round the back of the old London Apprentice pub. There's a little studio round the back of the old London Apprentice pub. And I was always late. I lived over the road, and I'd always be late because I'd like rock up into the pub. I'll just have a quick pint, and then yeah, I'd get the text from Catty. Me and Catty go back to that days, and Catty would text and be like, "Where are you?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm just finishing my beer." And lived over the road, and I was always late. We had a guy, Craig. He came from Thatcham. He was always on time. Cy was on drums, I think, as well, and then Cy could make a couple of sessions, and then kind of guess he felt that it might not have been for him, and then Phil Seaton came on board. Grind out a couple of tracks here and there. We did an EP, no vocals because I wasn't singing back then, and then it just amalgamated into a 3-piece, which was just Catty, Phil, and myself, and then that turned into No Good Sons, to which then Mike took over from Phil when Phil moved to Dubai, and then obviously Martin joined in as well. But yeah, it's in terms of band career for me, it's actually quite short. I think of the guys, definitely the shortest. So I'm very lucky to have the help and support of the guys who've been there and done it, because you feel like you don't have that experience or something like that when you go to gigs and stuff. I remember the first couple of gigs and the confidence levels were low, and it was, there were good times to definitely have the boys who'd been there and done that. But it's definitely been a good progression. But I do think about the Lucky 6 days in that dodgy studio around the back of the pub, which would always end up back in the pub. They were good times.
I guess, like any band, you just want to keep pushing forward and playing to as many people as you can, as many stages, locations. And that's how we are. Everyone in bands has in their head where they think they'll go, but that's just something you ride the wave and see where you land, I guess. But yeah, we just keep ploughing on, and that's all I want to be doing right now. Styles, I mean, if you listen to our earlier stuff, we were a lot more pop orientated, I think. Well, not pop, but more commercial rock music, if you will. And obviously every time you have lineup changes, things like that, styles and sound change. But I think like the stuff we're doing now, I think there are some slightly different styles on there. And I know between us all, we all write very, very different songs. So I think our styles will continue to change. And the types of songs on the recordings, I think, are quite different to what we've done before. We've got quite, not experimental, but we spent more time in the studio to develop the sound we're putting on the album as opposed to just plug in, play and go, which is a huge part of why we're desperate to get this damn album finished. And we're nearly there, we're that close. But yeah, styles have changed every time we go in the studio. And even now we're all writing, and again, it's different and different and different. And I guess you just have to see when the album comes out. Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're really blessed with the fan base that we have and what we've built up. I think it's taken, it grew bigger than I expected. I think everybody in the band was actually quite surprised at how quickly it picked up. And so I want to keep doing what our fans want to see. I want to keep doing the compliments that we've had, and the people say, oh, you sound like a mixture of this and this and this, and I dig that. I like the fact that people can find references to things that they enjoy from their music that they can relate to us, because that means that they have that personal connection with us, and I always appreciate when people tell us that. I really do. I can't see any change coming anytime soon. Really, really can't. I think we're gonna keep plugging away. We're gonna keep doing what we're doing. You know, we're building sessions like this, courtesy of Redhead. You know, the videos, obviously the latest album. We're just gonna keep grinding away and chipping away because it's fun. You know, again, bringing back to that family element. It's just what we do, we enjoy, and I really don't see any change in that. And in terms of change and styles to the song, we've got quite a diverse range of tracks anyway. I think the first records, and then you take definitely Sin, which had like some heavier tracks, and then you go for your country stuff. And I've always said, the southern rock is for me the country blues is my favourite genre, but everyone's got different genres that they bring to the table. I think with Lockdown, there's definitely some aggression everybody sat on. So I think some of the new stuff, will it be heavier? Unintentionally. I think we just want to get back to playing live, and the aggression is building up. So I think we might see, whether that comes out in the music or the lyrics, I don't know. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But I certainly don't want to take a sharp left in terms of style, because again, the fans and the people who promote us, who said they love what we do, so why would we change it? We're not going to do that anytime
soon. Highlight for me was playing for the Hells Angels in one of their clubhouses. That was cool, and they were a great bunch of people. So that's way up there for me. Also, when we played the Two Counties Festival, I think in Kent, massive stage, great lighting rig, and it was the biggest stage we'd played, and it just felt good to be able to do your thing, but with lots of space to do it, which is obviously hard in smaller places. So that was cool as well. Low points for me is the restarting of the project, of the album, through lineup changes. It's never easy when someone leaves or they're requested to leave, and having to start again. We have been very Spinal Tap with drummers, but Nathan's come in. He's established himself within the band very well, so he's safe for now.
Highlights, too many. Sub 89, supporting the Choir Boys, was the biggest gig for me to date. Obviously, the first album, Revelations, going #1 on the Amazon Rock chart. I mean, for me personally as well, that's my first ever album, you know. And never in my wildest dreams did I think, being the late runner to the show of doing gigs and recording albums and stuff, I never thought my first one would be like, oh, by the way, yeah, you just hit #1 on the Amazon Download Rock chart. And I thought, that's incredible. Some might think, that's not a great thing. That's down to them. But for me, for a personal achievement, that went really well. Really, really well. I was so happy with that. But I think the biggest high point definitely is the gig we did at the Big Red. And it's split into two parts. Obviously, for me, it's my first London gig. So to get such an established venue like the Big Red was such a great thing. But we laid on a coach. We asked people who would actually want to come if we put on a full, massive Barnes coach, and everybody wanted to chip in. So we worked out how much it would be per person. It picks you up from Newbury, straight to the gig, and then drive home. And I was so nervous at this gig, and I went outside to have a beer and get some fresh air, and this coach rocked up with all our mates and crew from Newbury and surrounding areas. And to me, that was just like, my God, that was one of the single most incredible moments for me, for No Good Sons, seeing all those people get off of the coach, super hyped, super excited, and all at the front. And we have actually got a picture of all of them outside the front of the Big Reds, which was, it was great. That was, definitely the high point. Low point, and actually, all honesty, we haven't had too many. I think, like any family, we have our downtime, we have our time when individuals, we have situations that take us away from the band mentally, and I think we work on them together as a family, and that's the best thing about it. So as a low point, it happens like everybody, but the good side to it is that we're all there to support, and we do.
I always enjoyed performing. I used to do theatre and musicals and stuff growing up through school and college. I always wanted to sing in a band. I always wanted to be a frontman, but was always terrified of singing in front of people, which is kind of a problem. And it was actually through a musical at college called Oh, What a Lovely War, where I had to sing because of the role that I wanted to do. So thanks to that musical, I was like, okay, maybe I can work this out. I mean, I'm sure I sounded terrible at the time. I was petrified. But yeah, if I hadn't done that, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have done any more towards the singing. Who knows? But outside of the band, I work in warehouse management, which is, well, it's not very rock and roll. It's a good job though, but being in a band is much better. But yeah, I like dressing up for fun. What can I say? It's awesome.
So, insight to my life. I work full time in IT security. I'm a dad, and I live with my lovely lady. Before lockdown, it was gigs, open mics, dad stuff, rehearsal, all sorts, recording the album, doing everything I can to fill up every minute of my life, which was a bit mental. Post lockdown, I've discovered a new art of flat pack king. Yes, I used to hate flat pack furniture so much, but now I don't mind it. It's all right. It's pretty good. I've been adding to my vinyl collection quite heavily, and adding to my bourbon collection. And what else have I been doing? I've just bought a home recording kit, as you'll see right behind me. So I'm going to start having a delve into the world of recording, which I was supposed to do about 10 years ago. But I just kept lying to myself and spending money on stuff I didn't need. But now I've actually gone and pulled my finger out, bought a ton of kit that I'm actually going to start looking at for the next 5 years to turn out if I can or can't do it. And if I can't do it, then, well, at least I tried. Within the band, I'm a singer, songwriter, and a guitarist. Outside of the music, I just try and organise stuff, I guess. Mike and I do a lot of organise, what about this, what about that. I do a lot of the artwork, so like the logo for the band, the posters, anything to do with the artwork I like doing, because I've got yeah, it's just that creative streak. So I quite enjoy doing all that, and getting that set up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm sure the boys will actually say a lot more and say, like, I like to dictate this, my ego likes to do this, but I'm not going to put words into their mouths. I'm just going to let them tell you themselves.
One word. There's lots of words I'd like to call them. Okay, so Murray, creative. Nathan, groovy. And Lee, awesome. And I think we'll all agree that when it comes to them and deciding their words, for me it will be fabulous because, well, it's true.
I don't know. I don't know what the other boys are going to say about me, so it has to be kind of nice. Although I can guess what they're going to say about me. It's a 3-letter word, but I guess I don't have to name names. I'll say these 3 words, and I'll get punched in the face later on this one, I can guarantee. But I'm going to go with happy, dopey, and grumpy. Those are my 3 words to describe the guys. Yeah, I'm going to get punched in the face for that.
The all-important question. Well, it's bourbon, isn't it? Of course. Beer's okay, but bourbon's where it's at, all the way.
Well, I think anybody who knows me knows what the answer to that one is. It's always going to be on the bourbon. Yep.
Thanks for watching, guys. Keep your eyes open for the next instalment of Bourbon or Beer, Redhead versus No Good Sons. Stay safe.
Right, stick around for next Friday. We're going to have Nathan from Redhead, Mike from No Good Sons. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Hit the old subscribe on YouTube if you want to check out more as well. See you soon.